ashamed, so confused. I was broken and bruised. Now I'm a warrior.
Hey guys, so as many of you know, it's National Eating Disorders Awareness Week, and in honor of that, I just want to share my story. And I did this a couple years ago, but I just want to go a little bit more in depth about my story and an update of where I am now. So January of 2012, that's kind of where my eating disorder bloomed from. I mean, I believe, like, through therapy work, and I figured this out, that I was never content with my body from the age of 7, and I was always, like, hated what I saw and just very miserable, but I was still healthy eating habits. But then January of 2012, I, of course, made the New Year's resolution to lose weight, as everyone in society does nowadays. So I decided to go vegan. That lasted 11 days before my body was like trying to tell me that this wasn't for me because I wasn't getting enough of what I needed. So I stopped that, and then the exercising began. But then the summer of 2012 is actually when things started getting, I guess, at its worst. Kept waking up at 6 a.m. every single morning. I would not skip one day, and I wouldn't come back from the gym until 9:30, 10. My meals were very small, and I can see that now looking back. Although when I was doing it, I just thought I was simply being healthy and fit, and I was following all the Fitspos on Tumblr, so I was like, oh, everyone else is doing this isn't bad. But then I would exercise later at night to try to burn as many calories, and like I said before, looking back, I can definitely see how disordered that was, but I was still not believing that it was a problem. I didn't see a problem with it at all. Then my mom started questioning me a little bit every couple months, saying, like, you're not eating enough, are you okay? And I was just completely annoyed at that because I was like, what are you talking about? Like, look at me, I'm fine. Like, do you not see I'm fine? Um, and then September of 2012 is actually when I just I felt more compelled to keep doing what I was doing, even more so, like taking it to the next level, almost restricting a lot more, and just to keep losing the weight. And then I wasn't getting my periods. I didn't get it since that summer. So months went by, and obviously, like, as ladies, we all know that's not healthy at all. So my mom was beginning to get worried. She took me to the doctor, and the doctor basically gave her the hint that she thought I had an eating disorder, anorexia nervosa. And I was, like, completely overwhelmed and confused and angry at that because I just saw my body and it was nowhere near what an anorexic girl would look like. So I was very angry, and I would just tell my mom that everything was okay, I was fine, I was healthy. And a couple weeks later, she took me to the hospital because she was still worried, like she couldn't sleep. And we went to the hospital, I saw a psychiatrist there, and that's when I was actually diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. And that was scary. That was a very scary moment, and it was frustrating, and it angered me, and I was depressed, and I was all the emotions you can think of. I was especially angry with the doctors for diagnosing me because I just felt like they were just diagnosing me without knowing what anorexia was, I guess. I mean, I saw my body, and I did not look anywhere near what an anorexic looked like. Obviously, now I know that eating disorders are not about body types, but in the beginning and more deep into my eating disorder, all you care about is how you look and if you look sick enough. So, a couple weeks later, we decided to, my mom decided to take me to treatment. So we found Renfrew. I started out in IOP, which is 3 nights a week, and they only serve dinner. Then, as the months went by, I had to keep going into deeper levels of care. I went to day program, which was 5 days a week, breakfast and lunch. And I was there until up until a couple days after Thanksgiving, because now that I think of it, like, I actually remember my worst day in my eating disorder. And I restricted completely on Thanksgiving Day because there was no program. The next day, on Fridays after Thanksgiving, my family, my other side of my family celebrates. So We went, I had treatment that day. I had day program. So I had breakfast and lunch. And then when I went home, I completely restricted. I didn't have dinner because I was so angry that I had to eat. And then the next day, that Saturday, I had a vegan cupcake that I was planning on challenging myself for dessert on Friday. But that didn't happen. So I decided to just try it out after not eating for a couple hours. And then I just remember completely freaking out. The guilt, the anxiety was completely overwhelming. Um, I remember just trying to work out in my room, but my mom storming in, like, trying to calm me down because I was just extremely angry and confused. And I just felt so overwhelmed with these feelings. And I guess that's when I realized that maybe this isn't healthy, maybe I do have an issue. And so when I went back to day program Monday, they found out a bit about the incident, and I was sent the next day to residential in Philly. And that was actually one of the scariest moments because I was with so many girls and I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I'm not sick enough for this, I'm not thin enough for this, and that's likely what happens with a lot of us with eating disorders. We never feel sick enough or deserving of the care and help. And it was just scary. But now looking back, Renfrew did save my life. And then the girls there changed it completely. And so I got out of residential. I spent Christmas and New Year's Eve there. And then a couple days after New Year's Eve is when I was discharged. Then I went back to day program and IOP and then did it all over again because I relapsed completely. And I want to say in March, after I had a big blow up with my mom because I remember this too. I asked for a salad or a wrap. It was a wrap or a salad, and from like a pizza place because I was trying to challenge myself, and I didn't want pizza. That was too much of a challenge. So she brought it, and they put fries in it, and the fries were touching the wrap, and I completely had to freak out. My anxiety was up the roof, and it was scary. I completely saw black, and I freaked out, and it was scary. So, Renfrew found out about that again, and I was sent to residential the day after, and then I spent my birthday there with a bunch of girls, and luckily, they all became my best friends, my sisters. We all have that in common, and we all have that special bond. But that's not where I want to spend my birthday, clearly, obviously. So that was scary, and then I was discharged, I want to say, later that April. Yeah, or maybe the beginning of May. I'm not sure. But then I did the levels all over again, and I was doing pretty okay. In about October of 2013, or no, way before that, probably like August, or the month July, they discharged me, and my therapist basically told me I wasn't being discharged on a good note. I was being discharged because they didn't believe I was trying my hardest in recovery. So that definitely like hurt me a lot, and then I just felt like giving up, so I kept giving into habits, and then I was like, basically I had the mindset, well, I'll show you and I'll hurt me. And so September of 2013 was my mom's wedding to my stepdad, and I remember them going on the honeymoon. I was doing fine that day of the wedding. I was having fun, and then my grandma was just at my house with me, and then I remember I was just in bed basically for the whole week, and was barely eating, and then the last 2 days I just restricted completely, and I was miserable and sad and depressed and every feeling you can think of. So then when my mom and stepdad got back from the honeymoon, I was just still in bed, I was depressed, and that's when I was taken to the hospital. I was completely dehydrated, and once again my heart rate was at a very low rate. It was dangerously low. So I was transferred to Somerset Medical Center, the eating disorder unit, and I am still to this day so thankful for that because that's the reason I am where I am now. I was there from September to September, and I only stayed 2 weeks because in a hospital setting you just stay a couple weeks. They rush the process, but then I was doing outpatient for a much longer period, like 2 months, 3 months, and then I was still struggling when I was discharged, but I was in a much better state of mind. I really wanted recovery. That's when I realized that it's actually what I wanted. I wanted to be happy again. And things were rough, definitely, up until the summer. The summer is when I was having the best days of my life, um, because it was my senior year, so I missed a couple months of my senior year, and then I was just trying to enjoy the rest of my senior year, prom house, graduation, and then summer camp, and all that. I just wanted to enjoy and just kind of be normal, like a normal teenager, and I definitely enjoyed it a lot. So since June or July, whatever equals 7 months until now, I'm really bad at math, but I've definitely been in a hopeful state of recovery for 7 months, and I really have Somerset Medical Center to thank for that, and Renfrew, because they set the base of my recovery. They set it, and I'm definitely thankful for all the girls I've met because they all changed my life forever, and I know I can always go to them for support or for help or anything, and they can come to me, and it's just so nice to have that bond with so many beautiful people. But that's where I am now. Like, I'm in a hopeful state of recovery, and I have my hard days, I have my struggles, I have my hard weeks sometimes, but I'm so much better off than when I was 3 years ago, and I'm forever grateful that I'm alive because I literally almost lost my life twice to this disease, and that's also why I want to share my story, because I don't want people to struggle in silence. I want you to all know that you're not alone in this. So many people struggle with an eating disorder, unfortunately. It's the number one fatal mental illness in this world, and it's sad that people don't acknowledge that. It's sad that insurance companies don't acknowledge that. You have to be a certain in a certain physical state of sickness to receive the treatment, and it's a mental illness, so a lot of the times you're not going to be in a physical state of sickness. Your mentality is where it all stems from. So it's just scary that a lot of insurance companies drop their people. Like, I was so fortunate enough to stay always, that my insurance company would always keep me for as long as I needed, but it's just sad that I saw some of the most beautiful girls who needed the most help, and their insurance companies just would drop them. So that's why I'm trying to raise as much awareness as I could, and if you could all wear purple this week, that would mean so much, just to raise awareness and spread it. And I'll be sharing facts. I'll be sharing facts daily on this horrible disease, but I just thought I'd share my story and update you where I am now, and I'm so happy, and I thank you all, honestly. You're all the biggest supports, and I could not have done it without so much support. So thank you all so much. Happy NEDAWeek, and I love you all.